Hi everyone, it's Miss Kristen with Sunshine Speech, and today I'm going to show you a really fun and simple way to practice the S sound with your child at home. Now first, when you're cueing the S sound, there's a few different cues that we use. First, starting with an associative cue, that's the kind of name that you would give this sound if the child doesn't know the alphabet yet. I call it the snake sound. This is quite common. There's other names you could use. Some people might say like the seal sound. I like the snake sound because the S sound makes a hissing sound similar to a snake, and children really seem to enjoy this. So we'll practice the snake sound. Next is a gestural cue. So there's a few different ones that are common for people to use. Lots of people draw a line down their arm when they're making the sound. This helps the child see the continuous flowing motion that their air is supposed to make when they're making the sound. Another gestural cue would be to just draw a line with your finger under your lips. This helps draw the child's attention to your mouth and helps show them that their tongue should be inside their mouth. Some children will produce S with their tongue sticking between their teeth. We call this an interdental lisp, like this. Sounds more like the TH sound. So if you're trying to teach your child, keep your snake in its cage behind your teeth, drawing a line right here like this helps them see that their tongue needs to stay behind their teeth. So either cue is fine for today. I'll probably use this one just because it's easier for you to see on the video. It's really important, especially for those children who are peeking their tongue between their teeth, to make this visual, so you could practice in front of a mirror. That way if a child is saying something like snake, they can actually see that their tongue is peeking out, and if you're showing them in the mirror, it will help remind them to keep their tongue behind their teeth. Finally, for physical cues, sometimes if a child is having a hard time remembering to let that air flow, I might touch on their arm and draw a line down their arm just to help them remember the air has to keep flowing. Don't stop your air. So those are some of the cues that we give to children to help them make that nice, flowy snake sound. So today, let's make some silly soup. First thing you need is a pot, and you need a spoon. So you can go around your house and find some silly things to put in your soup. They could start with the S sound, the snake sound, but you could also just find some other silly objects and toys that you have laying around. They don't necessarily have to start with the S sound. Today, my silly soup is going to be soup that has words with the snake sound, sometimes at the beginning and sometimes at the end. So the first thing I'm going to put in my silly soup is, oh, this one's super silly. I'm going to put a seal in my soup. Seal. You say that word with nice air flowing out. Eel. It's gonna go in my soup. The next thing I have, this one has a snake sound at the beginning, is a seahorse. There's a snake sound at the end as well. Seahorse. Seahorse. It's going to go in my soup. All right, now that there's two things in my soup, it's time to stir the soup. Stir, stir, stir. So if you're doing this with your child, you could get them to say the word stir before you hand them the spoon. Stir, stir, stir. So keep emphasizing that S sound as you are playing. The next thing I'm going to put in my silly soup, this has a snake sound at the end, is Minnie Mouse. She's going in my soup. That's so silly. Stir, stir, stir with the spoon. Next I have, oh, this is a funny one. A swordfish is going in my silly soup. Stir, stir, stir. Oh, This soup is very silly. Oh, the next thing I have is a happy face. Let the air flow out at the end of that word. Happy face. Face. Let's put it in our silly soup. Use the spoon to stir. Next thing I have, oh, this one is super silly. I'm going to put Santa in my silly soup. You say that word. Santa. Santa. Let's keep stirring. Use your spoon. Wow, my soup is getting very full of silly things. I have one more thing to add to my silly soup. Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is going in my silly soup. Stir, stir, stir. This is super silly soup. Thank you for making some soup. I'm gonna try my soup. Let's taste it. Ah, delicious. That was very yummy. Thanks for playing.